Good afternoon and welcome to Today on Bay TV. I'm Liz Cairns and this is Rachel Hopkins.
We are joined today by two of Wales' foremost journalists, former Evening Post editor Spencer Feeney and business specialist Robert Llewellyn-Jones. We have lots to talk about today, but first we have some music from Samuel Couch.
Wake up one morning and I won't believe what I see. Through empty vodka bottles, my stoner mates beside me. I struggled with my eyes, they were adamant to stay close. As I began to walk downstairs in the house I didn't know. What did I do last night? What did I do? Started feeling weary, my head was pounding. I turned around and what do I see? I see my best friend frowning. He said, hey man, what did I do? He said, you should be sorry. He walked in the kitchen, he saw his girlfriend getting up with me. What did I do last night? What did I do last night? What did I do last night? Was it out of spite, out of line? Cause blah 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 dee da blah, that's all I ever hear. Whack whack what, you're out of luck, was there anything else to fear? Blah 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 dee da blah blah blah, that's all I ever hear. Now I wish it was anywhere, anywhere but here. Anywhere, anywhere but what did I do last night? What did I do last night? What did I do last night? Was it out of spite, out of line? What did I do? What did I do last? What did I do last night? What did I do? What did I do last? What did I do last night?
34, 35.
Well, thank you so much, Samuel, and we look forward to hearing you more from later in the show.
We certainly do, and welcome both. Spencer, it's time for your weekly film review. What do you have for us today?
Right, I've been to see War for the Planet of the Apes. It's the latest in the Planet of the Apes reboot series, following on from Rise and then Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This one is set 2 years after Dawn, and it's when the military, led by a rogue colonel, come to kill the ape leader Caesar.
Oh.
Shall we have a look at a clip?
Definitely.
34, 35, 36, 37, 30, 37. I do. What now? What? Oh no! Oh no! No, 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 no. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
There you are. I have to say I was surprised by how much I enjoyed this film. I thought it was really good. The title, War, is actually quite misleading. Right. It does start off with a battle and it climaxes with a huge battle, but even then it kind of undercuts what you might expect. But in between those battle scenes, it's actually an intelligent examination of the kind of shift in morality of resistance and revenge. Right. and has some very interesting things to say about that. Caesar, the leader of the apes, and the colonel are both very conflicted characters. I suppose characters for this age that we live in. Both of them, Andy Serkis plays Caesar and Woody Harrelson plays the colonel.
Big names then.
Both of them are excellent individually, but their scenes together are actually quite riveting.
And would you say it would appeal to the whole family, or perhaps a male audience or female? Is there
I don't
a love story underlying?
Yeah, well, there is a love story in it, yes. Yeah, and it's a lot about family ties and the way that people, for the best of reasons, can end up in the worst of places. And there's an obvious homage in the film to Coppola's Vietnam war epic, Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Actually, at one stage, there's a bit of graffiti in those tunnels you saw them running through that says Apocalypse Now, which I kind of thought was overplaying it a bit. If anybody who knows much about cinema will understand that the homage that they pay in here. But it also reminded me a lot of quest westerns like The Revenant last year. And even, as you might have seen from there, prison of war escape capers. There's a lot of running down tunnels and trying to get out of prison cages. But also, you have to say, as you might have seen from that clip, the special effects in this film are quite extraordinary.
Amazing.
Done by a New Zealand company called the Weta Workshop. And there isn't a moment in the 2 hours where you're not convinced that you are looking at apes.
Right.
And have we seen them in any other films? You said this company that have done anything else?
They've done all of the reboots for the Planet of the Apes, and I mean, they're a big company. They work across the whole spectrum of film. Andy Serkis, of course, probably best known for Gollum in the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Quite a contrast for you, Spencer, from last week when you were at Dunkirk.
Absolutely, and you know what, Robert, I would say this is a better film than Dunkirk.
Yes, I could gather that from your critique.
This is definitely a better film, and I was really pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
You know? I hadn't seen the other two reboot, but it doesn't matter. You get the story quickly.
What is the age range for it? Because
it's 12A.
It is 12A. Yes. I was wondering, because I was going to say the characters there, at one point I thought, oh, they look really cute, but then they
could be quite frightening.
Changed, so I was wondering whether...
And there are battle scenes in it, and there is bloodshed, and there is loss and tragedy.
Right.
You know, so it's not a little kiddies movie. Yeah. But I do think it is a film that anybody in the family could go and watch. And if you go in to expect 2 hours of mayhem and explosions and humans and apes slaughtering each other, you'll be very disappointed. It's not that sort of film at all. It's much more thoughtful than that, much more intelligent than that. And I thoroughly enjoyed it.
So what would you rate it?
Righto. It's a bit sentimental and moralising, but it's also, I'd say, absorbing and thoughtful, and I would give it 4 stars.
Brilliant.
Well, it's a morality tale, isn't it?
It is very much about that. And just briefly, Woody Harrelson playing the rogue colonel. Outstanding.
That says it all, I'm sure. Definitely.
I remember them from a little girl, the first ones, and I always found them really fascinating. I don't know what it is about these films that make them so appealing to people. What would you say it is?
It's a mixture, isn't it, of fantasy and this idea that, if we're not careful, we will end up destroying our world and leaving it, hopefully, to somebody else to do a better job. All of these films, everybody remembers the Charlton Heston original Planet of the Apes. All of these films, of course, are based in a time before that, and they're all leading up to that, because in that film, there were no humans left. So by definition, any film, any of these that's got human beings in it, clearly predates that. So what this reboot series is doing is slowly leading us to the point where the original Planet of the Apes will begin.
And it's fascinating, because we had actually meant to have come from apes originally. So the way that they've just managed to turn it all around.
There's a scene there where Woody Harrelson looks into Andy Serkis's eyes. The rogue colonel looks into Caesar, the ape leader's eyes, and he says, "My God, you're almost human."
Oh my gosh!
And it's quite a moment, you know. I think, but actually, you're at that stage where the two species are just beginning to change position. Yeah.
That's fascinating. I'm sure I'm definitely going to go and watch it.
Go and see it.
Yeah, definitely.
Go and see it.
Well, what's your film for next week?
Oh, no idea. No idea yet. No. I like to surprise myself.
How do you choose them?
Well, I have to wait until midweek to see what's in the cinema. That was a good start, and then I choose from there. But I try to try to vary your choice. You don't want to come here every week and talk about the same sort of film.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely. Well, it'll be a nice surprise for next week to see what you'll be coming
Hopefully.
up with. Thank you both. And next up, we'll be taking a look at a couple more on this day segments, and then it's time for a daily papers review. Shall see you after the break.
Welcome back. I'm Rachel Hopkins and this is Liz Kens, and we are joined again by former Evening Post editor Spencer Feeney and of course our own Robert Llewellyn-Jones.
And we have a couple more of On This Day. Well, we're actually going to start with On This Day as we ran over earlier about the amazing film. I thought it was amazing, so the more you could speak about it, definitely the better. We're going to start firstly with On This Day and then we'll go into the papers. And the first one is, in 1840, the employment of climbing boys as chimney sweepers were prohibited by an Act of Parliament. What were your views, anyway, to begin with sending these boys
We weren't around at that time, despite,
what do you think?
despite our great age. We can't claim to have been...
So you weren't a chimney sweeper then?
We weren't terribly influential in that campaign, I'm afraid.
I think...
What's my view on sending boys up chimneys? Probably a bad thing.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you've said that. Correct answer, Spencer.
I'd have thought so, yes.
We have got a little video. Should we ever watch it? No, we don't. Actually, it's okay.
It was one of Dickens's, I think. I don't remember which, and I should know, which of Dickens's novels dealt with boys going up chimneys. But anyway, it was as a result of his...
It's the Old Curiosity Shop.
You say that because you read it for O level.
No. If you say these things with enough confidence, people will believe you.
Yes.
Well, I think it's a good thing that it was banished, wasn't it?
I think you might say that, yes.
But we did send children down the mines as well. I mean, it was horrid what we used to do. I know. Horrid.
My grandfather, his first job as a child was working in a coal mine.
I think it was later that it was banished in the coal mine.
He was looking after... yes, it was.
How old was he, Spencer, when he went down?
He'd have been about 12. I remember him talking about it. He used to mind the gates that they used to open for the coal wagons to come through. And sit there in the total dark, feeling the rats running over his feet and crying.
Oh my gosh!
I think at one time they started at 5, and they would just sit at the doors with a candle to light the ways, which is just
that's what he did.
Horrid to even think about the way they were treated.
Long ago.
No, well, we're talking about children at that age, and now what I am going to do is speak about children of our age and our time, and have some positive news that in Wales Online they have said that Pontedilais Comprehensive School is actually at the top of the league out of all of the Wales. So you can see the picture there, that's the school obviously. And they were the highest ranked state secondary school in all areas of Wales, and they were rated with 5 stars out of 5 in nearly all categories. And the way they did it was by going not just by the school's academic ratings, but it was the teaching, the attainment and finances. Yeah. So that's really good news.
And I think it's an important way to measure schools. It's not just about the exam results, because some schools have different catchment areas. It's this thing about added value. I mean, what's the expectation with those children come into school, and what do they have attained when they leave that school? Have you made a difference? That's where teachers have their value.
Yes, and also I know they looked at the way that the children went on to further education or went on into employment and things like that, because sometimes you can learn certain things in school, but then to move on and to progress into life, I think that is the most important thing.
Some schools
doesn't end.
Sort of find life skills and the likes of things that will actually help them in adulthood more important. I find it interesting. I've heard that Pontedilais is a good comprehensive school, and I've started looking at schools for my little girl. I mean, she's only 20 months, but you start thinking about what school they go to, because what comprehensive that will lead on to, even though it's a while.
I think Cummer Avon in Port Talbot.
Yeah, they were 6.
And they're way up the Avon Valley, but they were mentioned in this as well, along with the criteria that Spencer has mentioned here. Which
I'm quite surprised at some of the schools that were mentioned, sort of in the top 5 to 10, and some that were lower down. I mean, maybe this is a good thing, because all schools now are going to have to really look at the way they're teaching and running the schools, and perhaps improve everything for really all schools should be of the same standard and that high level standard, shouldn't they?
Well, you were saying about the way schools should be run. I think this is a lesson that needs to be learned with the way some stores may be run, to be honest with you. In the Wales Online and on BBC Online, they've released a story where there was Sports Direct in Bangor told Welsh speakers that they were no longer allowed to speak Welsh, and I think that went for every language as well, and they were only allowed to speak English.
It's a Sports Direct now you're talking about, isn't it?
Yes.
Is this story been stood up? Because I know Sports Direct was saying that they didn't think it had come from them and it might have been a hacked account. Has that been stood up?
They've actually apologised for the misunderstanding.
So
yes, it's been confirmed, and apparently it was down to health and safety reasons. That was the reason. How the heavens, I am sorry, speaking Welsh can have a detrimental effect on your health. I'm really not sure there.
People use health and safety these days.
So what's the outcome of it all?
Well, there's an investigation now.
Yes. The chairman of Sports Direct doesn't seem to me to be the kind of man who is going to be much influenced by the...
I don't think so. I don't think he's going to pay a lot of attention to the Welsh Language Commissioner. Whether he should or not, I think Sports Direct is not exactly having the best of time with publicity, are they?
No, exactly. This is the second.
Mike, what's his name?
Mike Ashley, owner of Newcastle United Football Club,
right,
of course, yes.
Mike Ashley.
Of course, I suppose for private enterprise, there is this issue then about... and it's not just Welsh, it's, you know, we live in a multicultural and multi-language nation now. It's having staff available who are able to respond in whatever language, isn't it? And that obviously is quite the challenge.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, under the Welsh Government anyway, there should be a certain percentage of Welsh speakers within most
in the public sector. In the public sector, I don't think you can't impose on the private sector that, can you?
No, but I suppose when we offer now whether you want to speak English or Welsh, we need to make sure that obviously these people are there and available to be able to speak Welsh to whoever insists or decides that they want to actually speak Welsh. Is they right? And I'm quite surprised, if I'm honest, at Bangor, because that is such a highly Welsh area, and maybe that was the problem, and maybe too many were speaking Welsh and other people couldn't understand.
But they didn't have, I presume they didn't have people working on the staff who were Welsh speakers.
Yeah.
I guess that was the nub of it, yeah?
Yeah. Well, in all other national papers, the Daily Telegraph, they're all covering Brexit. Tory anger at officials over Brexit divorce bill. Daily Express, revolt over 36 billion EU divorce. The Eye, tangle of EU red tape for British tourists, and they go on to say new regulations will increase cost and complexity of visiting continent post-Brexit. Brussels wants travellers to complete online questionnaire and pay visa fee, and onerous travel rules revealed as number 10 dismissed reports of 36 billion divorce bill. Now, we also have, on the front page of the Western Mail, hard Brexit could cost Wales, staggering 1.1 billion warning. And in the that was the front page of the Western Mail on the weekend. And then in the Evening Post, we had Brexit could cost economy 168 million. We have breakdowns as well. That apparently, this is from the inside of the Evening Post, Swansea, if it was a soft Brexit, could stand to lose 49 million, and at a hard loss, 90 million.
Can I just say, I'd like Spencer's view on this. Do you think people, Spencer, really understand what we've just heard now? When it came to the Brexit vote, do you think they had weighed all this in the balance?
Nobody gave that any thought, and I don't think people are going to be swayed now. I mean, the vote is over anyway, but I don't think people are particularly swayed by this. You know, we're going to have years of this, aren't we? People throwing figures at each other.
Yes.
Soft Brexit scenarios, hard Brexit scenarios, it'll go on and on and on, and until the deal is done, nobody will know whether we voted for a better or poorer future.
Yes.
And to me, the question still remains, when the deal is done and we know the detail, should we or should we not be given the chance to vote again and say we are happy with the deal or we're unhappy with the deal?
That is a very good question, actually, because like we've been saying throughout the whole time of every programme that we've done when Brexit has come up, we as population did not understand exactly what Brexit was when we voted. Now everything has come out should we then have that opportunity to re-vote? Now, we do understand.
I still take the view if you voted leave without really understanding what you're doing, you should have understood, because there was enough written in the campaign to explain the pros and cons. So I don't entirely buy this argument that people voted in ignorance. And all the surveys I've seen since have shown that most people who voted leave, the vast majority who voted leave, would still vote leave.
Yeah, that's true.
But do they vote?
No, thank you so much. After the break, we will be all in a twirl. and welcome back. I'm Liz Cairns and this is Rachel Hopkins. And today we have some special guests who I mentioned earlier with a bit of a twirl. So, what exactly do you do?
We do baton twirling. It's massive in England, Australia, all around the world, but it's not so well known in Wales. So
You've just started it off in Wales, haven't you? You're the
Yes.
leaders.
Yes.
And we've got two of your friends and partners. Should we have a look at them in action? Yes, twirling. So who are these two here now?
Mia and Steph.
Mia and Steph, are they?
Mia.
Mia and Steph. So what routine is this? What do you call this?
Parade.
So it's a parade. So what we'd think of as like the marching parade, is it?
Yeah.
So how long would you have to take to learn this? Because it looks really complicated.
We've had this routine for about a year now. It took a good few months to get everybody to learn it, and we do it like through our summer parades, winter parades. We do it for Swansea, for Port Talbot, for different places. It took us a while to learn it though. Yeah, it's pretty tricky.
It must take a lot of fitness to do all this practicing.
Yeah, a lot of stamina because you have to do it for a very long time and going up and downhill, and it's just like a lot to do, and you have to make sure that
it look so easy though.
That's, yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know, you're saying that now, because I've heard somebody have said that I think you would like to teach us.
Yeah.
So, what did you just say? It looks easy? Is it going to be easy? That's what I'm worrying about.
Well, the thing we're teaching you is what we teach to like peewees, so the younger girls.
Right.
So, yeah, we're going to teach you...
get to there, no pressure.
No, we're going to do a butterfly pass.
Okay, and how old are these that normally get taught? Please don't say something like 3 or something now. Because,
yeah, you've got 3 to 5.
But doesn't it get harder to learn things as you get older? So, you know.
That's our excuse.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah. I just thought I'd put that in there right now. Yes. Perhaps we should do it one at a time so that we don't end up walloping each other.
I'm free to hold it. Right, okay. So how would you all say now? What's the best way to even hold the baton?
Right, a butterfly pass, we're going to hold it thumb to ball in our right hand. Thumb to ball is when we're holding the baton with the big end at the top and our thumb is facing the ball.
Right, okay.
And we're going to hold it horizontally.
Oh, right, okay.
And we're going to flip it over and open our hand. And then we scoop our left hand under and make a butterfly. So we keep it in between our index finger and our thumb, and we keep it up straight like this, so our little end is up.
I'm already
lost.
lost.
Looking totally different.
3-year-olds, you say.
Little end up. So this is the tip. We want to make sure the tip is in the air.
Okay.
That's the ball, so you want to flip it round. Then we're going to scoop our left hand under, and we're going to make a butterfly, which is why it's called a butterfly pass. And then we bring our right hand away.
Yeah, if I do that, it's going to fall.
So clench it with your left hand, and then you bring it round. That's a butterfly pass. So you just pass it under, and you do that. So you make the butterfly, pass.
I think I'm making it up.
Like this, or am I just doing a really
You can
bad
just rotate it. Yeah.
That's a little dramatic for me then, wasn't it?
Yeah. Sorry, Jeff.
So can I join?
Yeah, sure, go for it. Yeah.
Can I watch? Yeah. So in October, the first Welsh Championships are going to be, isn't it? It's in Kidwelly.
Yeah, Kidwelly, yeah.
But that's going to be the very first time because baton twirling isn't really that known, especially in South Wales, is it?
Yeah, we've got there's a few troops in like North Wales, but they're majorettes. We're more baton twirling, which is more involving dance and ballet and tricks and
I was going to say, what's the difference? And what are your backgrounds? How did you sort of find yourself getting into this baton twirling?
Well, you joined in the Gwenjoy Farley group.
Yeah.
Maddie's been twirling with Carmarthen for a while.
Right.
We teach around. We're teaching a class in Llanelli at the moment as well.
Right.
So we've sort of spread ourselves.
Yeah. So
But yeah.
I've got to ask you both, how did you feel when you found out that you got chosen?
It was unbelievable. I didn't expect it at all. I didn't believe my mum when she told me. Yeah, so...
Very happy then.
And then, like, when my mum told me, I was like, "You're joking," and she's like, "No."
That would have been mean. It's a joke,
Yeah.
isn't it?
I think someone was crying. Was it one of you two who was
Yes,
crying?
it's Stephanie.
Oh.
Yeah.
So it obviously shows how much it meant to all of you then, that you, because there's only 4 of you got through, wasn't it?
Yes.
So now you were going to be representing Wales, and you?
Yeah.
Yeah? That is absolutely amazing. Because up until now, it's all been England, isn't it? You've had to actually go and perform and compete in England, is that right?
Yeah, we compete in MBTA England and we go to nationals every year. So this is only our second year doing it. So that's why we wanted to open up a Welsh organisation, because like when we do go to Europeans or the Worlds, we want to represent Wales because that's where we're from.
Yeah.
So instead of going like UK based, we're going to go Wales. And that's why we've opened up Cymru.
So putting Wales on the map when it comes to badminton twirling.
Basically.
That's brilliant. So if anybody wanted to actually join, because obviously looking for new members and that could reach the stage that you were all at to represent Wales, how could anybody go about that?
We have a Twitter page and a Facebook page. The name is just Twirl Cymru. If you type that in, it should come up, and then you can message our coach Jess, and she'll help you find a class to come to.
And is there an age that you can start, and what's the age range?
We normally go for we do have Pee-wee classes where they're about 3 or 4, really young.
How do they manage with these? It's about the same height as a 3-year-old, I'd say.
You get different. So that length is probably a 28-inch, I'd say. But most of the girls twirl with a 30-inch, but you can get tiny ones.
Oh my gosh.
We've got Olivia, who's like our youngest twirler.
Yeah.
She's Jess's daughter. She twirls with like the smallest button you can get.
And does it matter if you come along and you're not as good? Because obviously these girls are going to represent.
There's different abilities in competition. So like, Fran, what are you in now? You're in what are you
Novice.
in? Novice.
And pre-novice.
If she advances again, she'll be in advanced. So like you have your age category and then you have your ability category.
Right.
So you build.
So similar to like with dance competitions and that.
So you don't get put up against somebody who's like a lot better than you. So it's a fair
competition.
Yeah.
So do you combine gymnastics and things as well with it?
Yeah, it's a mixture of gymnastics, ballet, different styles of dance.
Right. So you answered very happily then when I mentioned gymnastics. So I take it you do gymnastics,
I do ballet.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Ballet is always such a discipline that it sets you up so well for anything else. Even martial artists study ballet to help with their skills. So
Yeah.
It's the balance, isn't it? With when you do martial arts and the posture. Yeah. So how would you find, you must have, or everybody now that you is in your team must be like close friends as well. And do you find yourselves all like one little family?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of travelling, isn't there? So you have to get on well, really.
Yeah. So. I'd say I've got more friends in twirlers than I do at school.
Oh, you have that in common. So I can understand that. And I think, do you find, because you're nearly 19 and do you find that it keeps you out of trouble?
Yeah, I would say, growing up, especially because, like, I grew up being a coach to you guys, didn't I? So it was, like, the responsibility of it does put you on the right track, and you do, it is good.
So could you teach me another move? Now I've learned the butterfly.
Well, you're technically doing a finger trap.
Well, I'd say I've learned the butterfly. I wouldn't say I've mastered the butterfly. But
Can you twirl it between your fingers?
Oh, good grief.
Oh, look, yes, I can.
Yeah, that was pretty easy, as long as everybody's just sort of like...
Don't say that. Say, wow.
This is a finger trap.
It's natural, Rachel.
So, finger traps is a big thing in twirlers. There's lots of many ways to do it, so...
But we won't practice throwing them up in the air and catching them in the air, no?
So have you got any mums competing or just coming along and having a turn?
At Nationals, there's actually a parents routine, which...
Brilliant, I'll sign myself up for that.
I'm in charge of it this year because it's POM, so we're going to do a POM routine for the parents to get involved in, and we've done, at one of our small competitions in Bristol, we did a mums move-in routine. Yeah. It was called Mums Move In, and it got all the mums involved.
Did any of your mums do it?
No, your parents didn't, did they? But your parents are getting involved at Nationals.
Yeah. Oh, are they?
My dad.
Oh, your dad? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Have you seen him yet?
The dads love it more than the mums do.
Yeah.
So have you seen him practicing?
Yeah.
I take you really proud then of your dad. Well, you're going to be proud of him anyway. Like, you're going to laugh a bit, aren't you, I bet?
Most people just get embarrassed by their dads doing the dad dance, but your dad's doing the dad twirls.
I know. He's taking it one step forward, isn't he?
Yeah.
Definitely.
And the costumes, we can't sort of not mention these amazing costumes. So have you got different costumes for different events?
Yeah, you have to have a lot of costumes for each event.
That's quite a nice thing though, isn't it?
Is it the parents that help with the costumes then? Are they the ones that's putting all these diamantes on, or you're buying it? Because they could be quite expensive as well, can't they?
Yeah, the gems themselves are really expensive. A lot of the time, like, I tend to gem up some of your costumes, don't I?
Oh,
but
a lot of patience then.
Yeah, it's a lot of glue and gems, I guess, stuck everywhere.
And do you have a professional makeup artist?
Yeah.
It's you? Oh my gosh.
You do pretty much everything then.
Multitasking.
Yeah. Hair, coaching, makeup, everything.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So can I ask you one more time, if anybody out there now is watching and has seen you all twirling, how can they get involved and if they want to join you?
Yeah, everybody's more than welcome. They can get involved through either Twitter or Facebook.
Brilliant.
Twirl Cymru. So yeah, it's just,
I'm
that's
there.
our Welsh organisation.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Lovely to meet you.
Next is Jenny Foss from Carmarthenshire Events.
Welcome back to Today on Bay TV. Now we welcome Jenny Fox from Carmarthen Events. Weren't the Twirlers wonderful?
They were amazing.
And what about us?
Yeah, well,
we said there, I think.
Yes. I will leave that one alone, I think. Yeah. But you actually coached them as well, didn't you, Jenny?
I do.
Yeah.
This is Fia, my daughter, who's one of the coaches for Carmarthen Twirlers. Yeah. And she's come along to talk about something different today. Yeah. But she's been with the Twirlers for 10 years.
So you're learning amazing skills doing these projects, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because you're still quite young, but sort of going forward a few years when you're applying for jobs and the likes of, these skills on your CV are going to be amazing.
Yes, I think it's so important to have them, isn't it, Fionn?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Right, well, Bay TV went down to the River Festival. I know it's back in July. Time is going so quickly. But should we have a look at it and see?
That'd be great.
You can tell us about it.
That would be great. Yeah, so we had the River Festival back in July. Fantastic event, really, and involving lots of community members. We had the Ferryside Inshore Lifeboat, which is the only lifeboat which is manned by St John's Cymru. In the whole of the United Kingdom. It's the only one that St John Ambulance have. And that's based in Ferryside. But then we also had a raft race, and you can see some of the raft teams actually on the river. We had a lot of corporate teams this year, accountants and solicitors from the town, and it was just really a great event. We had lots and lots of people there, lots of different organisations, and it was just fantastic to see it all and to have that response from the community. A couple of years ago now we lost Cameron Comey to the River Towie, and one of our key messages through the Carmarthenshire Water Safety Partnership was to ensure that we educate more, and the River Festival, having that annually, encourages us to do that and to work along like-minded organisations as well. So an amazing event, amazing response, and we just had a really great time on the day. So yeah, thanks to Bay TV for coming in.
It's a great way of, like you said, raising awareness, but in a fun way.
In a fun way. You know, I think everything's got to be done through fun, through children understanding that yes, rivers and watercourses are fun places, but also you've got to remember about being safe as well. And of course, lately we've had that tragic incident in Bilthwells again. Yes. You know, it's something that doesn't really come up in education, and they talk about road safety a lot, but river safety and water safety is another thing altogether. It doesn't get spoken about, so we just try to encourage that conversation and to make people aware of the dangers out there as well.
Hopefully all these events that you're going to and raising awareness will start putting that into motion.
Absolutely. You know, we tell children about recycling, we tell them about all sorts of things, and it's drummed into them. But water and how to react in water and how to be safe around water is always such an important message to take out there, really.
Yeah, I think
so many places in Wales where this is an important message for children.
Absolutely. And, you know, even Swansea area now, the Don't Drink and Drown campaign, there's been a lot of things going on in this area as well, you know. So, as you say, it's important across Wales, really. We're also close to water in so many different ways, whether it's a sea, whether it's a river, and sometimes it's even quarries and places like that where we've lost children, you know, especially. And it's education at the end of the day.
And the problem is now, we haven't had it lately, but we had that warm weather, didn't we, with the so-called summer. But and you'd see a lot of people, they were diving off the bridges and the cliffs and that. And I know there is a video going around at this moment in time, which is an awareness campaign with, like you said, it's the effect of when you hit that water, how your body reacts, and it's a way of, I think it's controlling your mind to react differently.
Absolutely.
And we will be showing that video soon on Bay TV.
Oh, that's great news.
Yeah, we've already looked into it. To be honest with you, we were waiting for the warmer weather because I thought that would be more appropriate, but we will definitely be bringing that on and be showing it.
Yeah, it's basic things like when you do learn to swim, you learn to swim forwards, whereas if you do fall in water, you should make sure your feet are forwards. It's things like that so your head doesn't get knocked. It's little things like that, you know, but so important to have those safety messages out there.
But I don't know what the exact figure is, but every year these, you know, horrific accidents happen, as you say, when the warmer weather comes, when there's sort of large parties near water. I wonder what it is that sort of perhaps sensible children, teenagers, young adults, older adults behave in such a way near water that you know, we lose our sense and sensibility.
We do, and in a way, I think we possibly all do. We see just that inviting watercourse, which on a hot day just looks so encouraging, or even somewhere to play, you know, and to be around. Cameron, we lost in February, you know, there was no heat to the day, it was just a nice day to go out, you know. So yes, I think it's so important for us all to have that, you know, thought in our heads that, yes, it looks like water, but there may be a rock underneath it, and things like that, which none of us really think about. We kind of go in a bit, you know, okay, we're going to have some fun, but we forget about the dangerous side of it and the consequences of it.
It's like you said, for nature, really, isn't it? Because temperatures can change so quickly, as you said, unseen rocks. So as you say, build an awareness so that people are aware of these issues when they're going out. So important.
It is, absolutely.
And having it, like you said, drummed into you, and really from a young age, so subconsciously you're aware of it. Whereas, like you said, going across the road, we automatically will stop, wait for a vehicle to pass. That's automatic.
Because we're taught it from such a young age. But we don't even have books really on water safety, on how to be safe around these areas. You know, I don't see it as such an obvious message then as road safety can be.
Now, Fionn, you've been organising the Johnston Carnival.
Yeah, Johnston Carnival,
So would you like to tell us a bit about that as well?
It's happening on the 26th of August.
Right.
It used to happen, I grew up, my mum was the chairperson for quite a while, so I grew up through the carnival, and it happened every year, so I was quite used to it. And then it had to stop because the members weren't enough, and they weren't able to do the work, because it is quite hard work, there's so much like planning and everything to do. So last year we brought it back, but I had quite a lot of support then, there was more people. We brought it back as J-Fest, it was like a festival, so we had the Saturday was the carnival, and then the Sunday was the duck race and the picnic.
Brilliant.
So a lot of responsibility for you, and a big thank you for joining us today. And Sam Cooch, who will be playing us out, and we can enjoy him in just a moment. And next on Bay TV today, we have our afternoon matinee movie. Today it's the 1952 action movie, The Adventure starring Jack Hawkins. And now it's back over to Sam.
When I see the smile growing on your face, you make the world seem a beautiful place. Because you know everything I own is not so incorruptible. You weigh me up, you shoot me down, but I don't wanna fall. When you look at me with its big blue eyes, my mind says no, but my body flies. Because you know every hissy fit I throw is not so understandable. You weigh me up, you shoot me down, but I don't wanna fall. So won't you sing with me, my friends? Let's run to the mountains again. I know it hurts hearing what I've said, so I will lay in my own bed instead. When you glowingly accept my apologies, moonlight still shines on through the trees. Because you know everything I am because of what my life can withstand. You failed me once, you failed me twice, but I don't want to do it right. So won't you sing with me, my friends? Let's run to the mountains again. I know it hurts hearing what I've said, so lay in my own bed instead. So sing with me, my friends. Let's run to the mountains again. No, it hurts hearing what I said, so lay in my own bed instead.